Vanakkam, welcome back to Coding with Sahana, Lesson 8, While Loops. இந்த வீடியோல first review பண்ண போறோம். போன வாரத்தோடைய challenge of the week solve பண்ண போறோம். Then we will learn about while loops. அதுக்கப்புறமா we will do practice with while loops. Finally, we will solve the challenge of the week.
Now let's solve the challenge of the week from our previous video. So our challenge of the week was to merge these two lists. One of them is assigned to a variable that I called Alex, and that stands for a list with 3 items in it. The word red, the word orange, and the word yellow, each of them separated by a comma to show that there are 3 different items in our list. And similarly, a list for B, which have green, blue, and purple. So this challenge of the week can be done like many of our coding assignments and practices. It can be done in many different ways. Personally, this is just a simple fix that I would use to merge these two. So since we have to print it out, I'm just going to do it all in one statement. In my print statement, in my print function, inside of the parentheses, I'm going to put just Alex plus B and run my code, and it prints out one list with all of the items in both Alex and B's lists combined into one large list. So this is one way of doing it. If you were to break the steps into 2 parts, that is also totally fine. I can call my next list Sahana, and I can set it equal to Alex plus B, and then I could just say print Sahana. And it would do the same thing.
இப்போ பைத்தான் கோடிங்ல எப்படி லூப் பண்றதுன்னு பார்க்கலாம். Looping is defined as repeating some aspect of a program multiple times. So நான் என் கோட்ல 3 கமாண்ட் 2-3 தடவை ரிப்பீட் பண்ணணும்னா நான் ஒரு for இல்லனா ஒரு while loop யூஸ் பண்ணணும். பைத்தான்ல 2 வகையான லூப்ஸ் இருக்கு. ஒன்னு for loops. For loops you would use it for looping a predetermined number of cycles. So நான் 5 cycleக்கு repeat பண்ணணும்னா I can use a for loop. அதே மாதிரி while loops கூட இருக்கு. ஆனா while loops ஒரு certain condition meet பண்றதுக்கு wait பண்ணும். அது வரைக்கும் it will keep on repeating the same commands multiple times until the certain condition is met. In the video, we will only look at while loops. So, Python ஒரு set of commands 2-3 தடவை repeat பண்றதுக்கு யூஸ் பண்றது while loop. அந்த certain condition meet பண்றதுக்கு it will keep on repeating and repeating until it is met. So in the example பார்த்தா, I have my variable that I set equal to 4 and I use a while loop. Line 6ல நான் while counter is greater than 0 code பண்ணிருக்கேன். So counter is greater than 0 என் condition. அதுக்கு அடியில 7, 8, 9 and 10. Lines 7, 8, 9 and 10 are my commands. அதுல 7 and 9 வெறும் common statements. So 8 and 10 தான் என் commands. So அந்த condition meet பண்ற வரைக்கும் it will continue repeating commands 8 and 10. இப்போ while loops use பண்ணனும்னா you have to be very careful because while loops, if they are not used properly, they can go on for infinity. So in the example பார்த்தா, in my shell I have numbers that go all the way down. They go on for infinity. இதை avoid பண்ணணும்னா we have to be very careful with three things. One, our initial variable value. So line 2ல வந்து num equals 1 போட்டிருக்கேன். So 1 is the initial value. Okay, we have to be very careful that that value is correct and it will meet our demands for what we need to do in the program. 2, we have to be careful with the condition in our while loop. So line 4ல my condition is when number is not equal to 10. So the problem in this code is that number will never be equal to 10. So அதனால the commands will be repeated on forever. 3, we have to be careful of the commands that are inside our while loop. இப்போ while loops கூட ஒரு practice problem செய்யலாம்.
Now let's do a practice word problem with while loops. So our problem is, how long will it take Grand Springs to reach a population of 400,000 if its current population is 250,000 and it is growing at a rate of 7% per year? Okay, so first let's rewrite our program in terms of code. And we will do that by first creating our variables. So I'm going to create a variable for my current population because that is information that we are already given. I'm just going to call it current pop for short, and I'm going to set it equal to 250,000. And since we have to keep track of the years, I'm going to set it equal, I'm going to keep track of the current year, and I'm going to set it equal to, I will just choose a random year. I'll set it equal to 2018, for example. So this is the current population of Grand Springs at 2018. So now we can create our while loop with our condition and what we want our condition to display each time we run it. So I'm going to say while my current population is less than 400,000. So I chose 400,000 as my number because our question is, how long will it take Grand Springs to reach a population of 400,000? So we want to increase the population until it gets to that. But we want it to repeat the loop while our current population is less than 400,000. So while current pop is less than 400,000, colon, we will have to increase our year each time because every year the population increases. So to maintain the track of the years, we're going to update our current year value, which is in this case 2018, by 1 each time. And we also have to give a new value for our current population each time the year increases. So we know that the current population grows at a rate of 7% per year. So I'm going to rename my variable current population to current population, oh, I have one extra R, current pop times 1.07. So this multiplication by 1.07 is just a shortcut for growing rates. So since we want to grow it by 7%, we would have to do the current value of the population, which is times 1, plus 0.07 of that value. Or we can just do current pop times 1.07. So this will grow our current population by 1.07 each time. So now we have a dilemma between whether we should include our print statement, which will print out the current year and the population inside our while loop or inside or outside our while loop. So let's try each different scenario and see which one we want. So first, I'm going to let's try outside of the while loop first. So we would do print in, comma, current year, so in a current year, the population is, and then we need the integer version of our current population because we want to round our population number to a whole value. So I'm going to use the integer function on my current population. And I'm going to run my code. So in this case, it gives us only one statement. In 2025, the population is 401,445. So now we cannot, in this case, it doesn't print out the growing population throughout the years. It only prints out the final population when it just becomes greater than 400,000. So to change this, we can just move this print statement inside our while loop. So each time the current population is updated, it prints it out instead of printing out just the final statement. So now that I moved my print statement inside my while loop, let's run our code. So as you can see, it printed out the population in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, all the way until it just turns bigger than 400,000. Now let me introduce you to this week's challenge of the week. So since we were learning about while loops, this challenge will incorporate a while loop in some shape or form. So your assignment is to create a program that allows the user to guess for your birth month. Notify the user when they guess correctly. So I have listed a couple of hints that can be useful depending on the way that you complete this assignment based off of what we are learning. So I would suggest to first create two variables representing the correct month in uppercase and lowercase form, just in case the user might type in the month with an uppercase letter starting or with a lowercase letter. And then I would suggest to use a while loop to repeatedly ask the user for their guess while the guess is not correct. And I would use an input function to gather the user's guesses. And finally, I would print out that the user guessed correctly only when the condition is not met. Meaning, if guess is equal to the variable that represents the correct month, then it should stop the while loop and it should print out the user guessed correctly. Good luck!
Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and click on the bell icon for notifications on my next video.